It wasn't until I was 70 years old that I got to go to Belize on a mission trip. I wanted to go because where I grew up in Bangor, Maine, it was practically all one culture. And so I really wanted to go and be in a country where it was a different culture altogether. I mean, I've had clothes and food and shelter, and I wanted to go where they didn't have that. I did find out they were the happiest, wonderful people there, and I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
While it's an often used term, the salt of the earth applies to many of our residents who've led their lives earnestly and humbly. Emily Doble is one who sets the example for a life led gently and graciously. Emily's forebears came from England to Bangor, Maine in the mid-1800s and built the farmhouse in which Emily grew up. The dairy farm required the constant work and attention of her parents, siblings, and 2 grandmothers before and after the World War II years.
The farm I grew up on was built around 1840, 1850, and always has been like 4 generations of people living in this big farmhouse. When I was living there, 2 grandmothers and the family, and my father and mother. And I always felt that I was the princess because my older brothers all got to do the work at the farm, and in those days the girls stayed in the house. We didn't go out into the barn. We lived about 5 miles from the school. The country school was very near where I lived, but the year before I would have started, they closed it, and then we all went into the city of Bangor to go to school.
She was a diligent and active student in high school. During those years, she worked summers at a YWCA camp where leaders there, seeing Emily's natural interest in working with children, encouraged her toward a career in teaching. She followed that guidance and graduated from college with a degree in education in 1957.
When I was a little girl, I always loved working with children. I never had any other idea but to be a teacher. My mother wasn't a teacher, but she helped an older sister that was a teacher there in the area where we lived. And so I believe it's in my genes, and never regretted, ever. I loved being a teacher.
Her career led her to Kittery, Maine, along with her soon-to-be husband, Jim. Emily and Jim spent their working years in Kittery, where she was an elementary school teacher and he was a school principal. Along with careers, they also started a family, raising 2 children.
When I first came to Kittery, I really believed that I love children very, very much, and they seemed to like me. And for me, being able to put your arm around a child and show them that they are loved and that they are approved of, and show them that they are worthy of getting a gold star every day. Also, just around town, a lot of the children that I had, of course, are still here in Kittery, and when they say, "Hi, Mrs. Doble," and smile, it is just the biggest blessing.
Jim was stricken with cancer in 1988, and they both retired from education as it became apparent he would not recover. Emily has been a widow for over 20 years, but has remained active as a volunteer and church educator. She realized a long-held dream in 2005 by traveling to Belize on a short-term mission trip, where her team built cabin-style schoolrooms and taught vacation Bible classes in the capital city of Belmopan.
As I have aged, I know it is trying to show others that Jesus is a wonderful, wonderful Savior. If I could just get across to people that He's with you all, He's the one constant, and I think that's a very important thing. We know that things change. We move from house to house. Our spouses die. Everything changes. But God never changes. He is the one constant. And if we can hang on to Him, we'll be all right in this world.
We at ACRC are grateful to serve this faithful woman, whose profile in grace and endurance mark her as the true salt of the earth.